Not too far offshore is our next round of more intense moisture, and I think that's going to start working its way our way a little bit later on. So additional rainfall potential. Here's a slight change from earlier thinking. We have dialed these numbers back a little bit, specifically for Portland and Vancouver, and I'll show you why in a second. But still, any additional rainfall on top of what we've already had. Creeks are still running high. There's still standing water out there on the roads, and so that is something that you're going to need to prepare for, certainly for this afternoon's commute and possibly even for tomorrow's morning commute as well. One of the other things I'm watching is the increasing south wind developing overnight tonight, and I'll show you that with Futurecast in just a second. All right, here's a look at the satellite radar plume. Again, that plume, that atmospheric river, round one, is now dissipating a bit and working its way on off to the east. But you look at the bright white cloud cover here out over the North Pacific. That is the second piece of this, the second fire hose, if you will. And that's going to take aim, we think, a little bit farther north. And with that, the south breeze is going to kick up, and that's going to allow some warmer air to come in as well. And I'll show you that in just a second. All right, here's Futurecast right now, doing a good job of picking up the current situation, right? Heavier rain dissipating and sinking into the south, but it never really fully shuts off here on Futurecast. So we just kind of keep getting little pieces of energy, and eventually you can see that by this evening, after sunset, the rainfall rates begin to creep back up on us again. We could be on the order of a tenth to 0.15 of an inch per hour. So again, that's significant rainfall in some of these areas that are shaded in yellow and orange. Now, as I roll the clock more on Futurecast, the concentrated band of steadier, heavier rain then begins to shift dramatically to the north, up towards Olympia and Seattle. So if that maintains the current track here, and this has been the trend over the last couple model runs, then we would escape the worst of the impacts here in Portland and Vancouver. So we'll cross our fingers and hope for that. But areas to the north, up in Cowlitz County and beyond, we showed you Castle Rock has already picked up 5 inches of rain. So, you know, if we start talking about another 1.5 inches to 2 inches up there, we are going to continue the high water situations on some of the creeks and rivers in that area. You can see, though, Futurecast really backs off on additional rainfall here in Portland, maybe a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch over the next 36 hours. So that's the good news. A little bit of good news. One thing I'm watching for this evening is the increasing south wind. So as that next system comes on through, the winds are going to pick up, and it won't take much, as we've seen from some of the earlier stories, that we could have some downed trees and hence some power outage issues. And to further illustrate that, I'll show you Futurecast here. This is this evening. The wind begins to turn to the south and pick up 20 to 25 miles an hour. So that could be enough to take down some of the weaker trees that have been maybe compromised in that really loose soil. All right, we're cloudy, we're a little drippy out there. It's cool. It's 47 right now at the airport. Highs for today may not come until midnight as that warmer air begins to come in and the south breeze begins to kick up as well. Here's our 7-day forecast. And again, we remain mild and on and off wet. Rainy and a little breezy tomorrow. Rain tapers off to showers Thursday. And then, Drew, I think I finally see some dry weather, a couple of days to dry out anyway, Friday, Saturday, and part of Sunday.
We will take it, Chris, for sure. Thank you for that.
Driving during the winter can be tricky. Snow or ice can make the roads tough to navigate. Our reporters in Virginia and Ohio have the do's and the don'ts for driving in the snow and ways to prep your car ahead of the next storm.
The best advice for winter weather driving? Just don't do it. Stay at home if you can. If you can't avoid it, here's what you need to know. Our sources are the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, AAA, and Kelley Blue Book. So these are the top 3 things that you should do. First, keep your distance from other cars on the road. Second, never slam on the gas or the brake pedal, and get your car prepared for whatever happens. That means filling up on gas, checking your tire pressure and tread, and always keep an emergency kit handy. Our sources also weighed in on some common questions around snow driving. First up, should you speed up before you get to a hill? AAA says hitting the gas hard could make your wheels spin and reduce your control over the car. Instead, try and get a little inertia going before you reach the hill and let that carry you up. Next, can children's winter coats make your car seat less safe? The NHTSA says that's true. Puffy coats can lead to loose-fitting harnesses. Instead, dress your child in thinner layers and put blankets or coats on after the harness is secured. And this one is a very common misconception. So Kelley Blue Book says you should actually not put your windshield wipers up before the snow comes. That can damage the springs that keep the wipers flush with the glass. But even if you follow all this advice, you still might find your car slipping on ice. So listen up to this. If you start skidding, take your foot off the gas pedal. Fight that urge to just slam on the brakes and instead tap the brake pedal lightly. And if your car slips to one side or the other, steer your wheel in that direction. All this will help you regain traction and self-correct out of the skid. With your Verify, I'm Kyle Johnson.
Any extreme weather could have a negative effect on your car. Today I spoke to Luke's Auto, who told me there are a few things that you can do to make sure your car runs smoothly in the cold weather.
This is actually showing a weak battery. It should not drop below 10 volts.
It's a busy time for auto shops across central Ohio. Luke Walker, owner of Luke's Auto, says check your tires, fluids, and battery before hitting the road.
Cold weather and really temperature extremes in either direction can often tend to make something that's on the verge of breaking go ahead and break.
This week, they've seen a lot of people for battery issues, noise complaints, and no heat. Sean Knox with Luke's Auto says if you have an electric vehicle, know that the battery might not last in this weather.
Especially EV cars, they won't hold a charge nowhere near as long as a normal car. So a lot of the EV customers we have also notice a reduction in how far they can get before they have to charge their car.
Knox says it's not a bad idea to wait for your car to heat up before driving it. He says don't turn on your wiper blades until they are defrosted. Then he recommends getting your antifreeze checked.
In colder temperatures, if the freeze protection is not right, it could cause overheating issues or actually freeze up and crack the engine block or the radiator. It'd be bad news real quick if it's not correct.
And when the cold weather ends, wash your car.
All the stuff that gets sprayed on the road is highly corrosive. And with us living in Ohio, we see a lot of rusty cars, which could help out. Just rinse them off, run through the car wash.
And Luke's Auto says there are a couple things you can keep in your car, like this emergency safety kit and a brush, just in case you're in an emergency, then you're prepared for it. Reporting in Columbus, Tara Jabor, 10 TV News.
The National Weather Service says that car emergency kit should include jumper cables, a first aid kit, charger, a flashlight, flares, snacks, and water. And don't forget items to stay warm, like boots, mittens, hats, and a blanket, as well as a snow shovel. Finally, you want to make sure you keep your gas tank full just in case you're stuck on the road longer than you planned. A ton of videos usually pop up on social media this time of year showing hacks to de-ice your car's windshield or clear the snow. And Aaron Sullivan with our station in Michigan put some of those viral claims to the test to see if they really work.
Waking up and scraping ice and snow off your car early in the morning is not an ideal way to start the day. So what if it could be made easier? Social media life hacks show that using everyday household items can help. Some users say you can use items you already have at home, like vinegar, sandwich bags, and rubbing alcohol. So I put some to the test on one of our station cars. I first tested a method using a sandwich bag filled with warm tap water. This hack is for defrosting your car windshield in the morning. I found that the window was so frozen solid that this didn't really work, but I'm sure it could work if there's no ice on your car. Next, if you're running late and need your windshield defrosted quickly, rubbing alcohol can help. I did notice this helped melt the ice just a little bit, but I can't say that this life hack was life-changing. I also attempted to create a DIY de-icer in a spray bottle using 3 parts vinegar to 1 part water. This did help with scraping ice off of the car's windshield, but the smell was extremely overpowering, and I do warn you, if you try this at home, you might inhale some of that vinegar. So I do not recommend. And if you experience icy doors and handles, I know I do in the morning, well, you can put WD-40 on the rubber edges around your door. This is going to help prevent your door from freezing shut. And for door handles, hand sanitizer can help de-ice those handles early in the morning when they're frozen shut. And lastly, put your visors down inside your car to trap warm air when defrosting your car towards your windshield. This is going to help quicken the defrosting up. Overall, I would say these life hacks didn't necessarily make my life easier, but if you want to try it at home, good luck. I hope it works out for you.